Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Mech Engineer for what is, I think, episode 9. My goodness, we have come a long way from the humble first taste mini-series origins of this series. Now then, today we are going to be trying to make our way down into Africa, but I actually got some really good comments that may change our plans a little bit. Now, of course, we've got plenty of comments regarding the setup of the mechs, but Loshep, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, made a wonderful comment that was pointing out that once a nest is marked, it makes seeing vital information about neighbouring nests more difficult. For example, if I unmark this one, we can see that there is a 1 there, which is fine. But what if that number was something other than a 1? It would change how all of this would work. And in some cases, I've never actually seen the number that is there. I can't actually show any instances of that, but there were a few that we marked out very early on, just because process of elimination meant that there was only one place a tile could have a nest, and we've never actually been there. Oh, for example, up here, actually, that's a really good example. I don't know what number is there, and with this there, I'll never see it. Now, of course, you can get into the habit of just unticking a nest when you're checking through things, but that's a little cumbersome. So I've actually suggested to the dev on the Discord under ideas. I've mentioned that a few people have pointed it out because it was actually I received honourable mention here goes to a couple of comments who pointed out that Lord Shep had made this fantastic point earlier and just double checking that I'd seen it. So well done on you for signal boosting there. Thank you very much. But I've mentioned that this has been brought up, and it might be useful if instead we could have some other kind of marker that preserved the number. Maybe even just a bold red outline instead of these little red corners with the exclamation mark in the middle. Yes, that's very in your face, but it does hide information. And this was brought up largely in part because depending on what is underneath this tile, it could change a lot. In fact, yes, no, that actually does change a lot of things. If this was a 3, then that could have meant a couple of other things for us. But it's a 2. And that is very significant, because this 2 can see 2 nests, one on itself and one down to the southeast here. This up here is a 3, which means that we need to see 3 nests within its area of effect. We can't see a nest up here because that's already excluded, because this is a 2 and it can already see 2 nests. And for the same reason, we can't see a nest here because this 2 can already see 2 nests, so that would exclude that. The 4 down here can see quite a few nests, so it could have been anywhere based on this. But this 2 in particular, this is the key. This means that this 3 cannot see a nest here. That's not possible, so it has to see a nest over here. So we have now locked down this 2, this 2, this 3. We've got a very important bit of information. This is doubly important because, as I said before, my initial plan was to just move straight through here. And if this was a nest, then that would cause a problem, because then that means this point of interest becomes the gateway to Central and South Africa. And that is exactly what has happened. Well, nothing much has changed from the last time that we were considering taking this on, and the advice is still maybe not just yet, so we're going to have to find an alternate route. Now, can I see what is around here? Oh, thank goodness. We can still see everything. Like, we've got visibility here, but on this tile, we can look at the other tile, what's under the cursor tile, just by hovering over it. That is a volcano. Is that the only volcano? This is mountains. We've got wasteland there. So this path is potentially okay. There's wasteland here and wastelands going all the way down. We'd also be near to a city. In fact, the moment we take this desert, the moment we get to this desert rather, we'd be within range of that city. That is definitely something I am interested in doing. For the time being though, just to try and keep our temperatures down, because the volcano's temp is incredibly high, obviously. We've got a wasteland there, desert, wasteland, and then a couple of wastelands moving south. We can definitely try and go around this nest. I think that's the way that we're going to have to move. But thank you so much for that information there. That's super useful. Also, on the topic of nests, Azura Sky 8955 mentioned that accidentally sending your mechs to a nest isn't as devastatingly dangerous as I had been imagining. The surface of a nest is just like a regular map, they say, with ovums and brucuses. However, you then have the option to enter the nest, and that's where things start getting super dangerous super fast. So, duly noted, if we accidentally do end up not knowing an area, we can still send out a party there, and there will still be stuff for us to collect there. Thank you very much for that information. But now that we know what we know, we are definitely moving northward, and we're going to start moving to the east. That's going to be our new plan of action. So with that all said and done, it's time for us to pass the day that we were holding off on passing. Right, here we go. We've got a new laser, we've got a new motor, we've got a couple more motors on the queue, and we also have drones unlocked. Let's have a look at the city. We actually made a lot of materials last turn. We've got a decent amount of consumer goods. So we're stockpiling consumer goods, so that means it's at 100%, and that also means that we're not at 100% food supply, because again, they are oscillating. Wounded humans, we removed 0.12 wounded humans. If I think the AI in this city has watched Judgment Day and understands that machines can absolutely justify decimal calculations of humans. I still don't quite get it, but okay. I guess we got someone out of the hospital because their broken leg healed, rather than, you know, the whole of them coming off life support. I don't know. But either way, that is a very small number, and is not actually a good thing to see. Let's have a look down here. Is it still the same? Yeah, no, it's exactly the same. All right, well, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but we got a couple more science team members, a couple more engineers. Very happy with that. Tomorrow, we are going to get the new water guidance for our missiles, so underwater missions will be a possibility. And then everything else is going to be 2 days away. Right then, let's go down to the district now. I do believe I had a comment on this. Yes, Trekker Tech suggested that I check out District 15, as is something interesting about it. Oh, actually, that was for District 15, was it? Yes. The Mech hangar. Yes, we covered this in, actually, I think the first episode. I might have touched on this one, or maybe the second. But if we fully repair this district, we can field our mechs twice, which would mean we could send 2 reinforced lances out, or potentially, if we had enough pilots, we could send out 2 full-strength lances twice. So, but at that point, you're going to need 16 pilots. How many pilots do we have? Do we even have enough for that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We only have 13 pilots, so that isn't a possibility yet. But you know, we could like send out this entire lance, I believe. Yes, we would be able to send out all 12 mechs twice. Sorry, all the 6 mechs twice, rather, with 12 pilots. So that is an option, but it's not our focus right now. Again, if I keep getting distracted from District 56, it will never get finished. And the people who are slowly losing their hair because I haven't already upgraded it will go completely bald by the end of this series. Now, let's go ahead and choose the water supply system, because that will give us a little bit more food supply. It'll also improve energy and wounded humans, which clearly we need to do. So let's get that one on the go. And with that, we are moving on to the tuning mechs and missions. So let's have a look then. What are our options for today? I would rather not deal with the water right now, frankly. But that's not the best. Ares, Fragilum, and Operaris, rather. Ares and Operaris. We're seeing a lot of Ares around these areas, which isn't the best. What is their... do they spawn in the same way as others? Yes. Special swarm life algorithm based on the planet's spherical coordinate system. So it's going to kind of be moving around, and we're just moving through an area where they are particularly active right now. But okay. We've got a couple of things we're going to need to do. Now, we're going to be taking Digrig back in here, because Digrig is getting the most attention from the comments of all of the mechs. At this point, I think the other mechs are going to start getting jealous with how much people like the Digrig and like puzzling out the Digrig's build. We're also going to be taking the Marshmallow back, and possibly the Firestorm. Firestorm currently has the least temperature tolerance of all of them. The max temperature right now is 166. I really want that up in the like 225 somewhere around there, because if we're going to be going into deserts, that's about the 150 mark that we wanted. 140, 150, somewhere around there. Though I suppose we could hit this one, and the Firestorm would be okay with that. But let's bring Firestorm back for now. We've got a couple of other bits and bobs, as well as everyone now has access to drones. There is a big question on that one, though, because none of the pilots yet have got the ability to use drones externally. From what I understand, drones are only going to be useful to the mech they're on, unless we have that skill. At that time, I might equip Mr. Brown and Mr. Pink with it. And they could just be a repair pair. We'll see how that one goes, though. But let's go over to engineering. Now, before we deal with any of the mechs that we've already got, it is beyond time for us to set up the Shellcracker again. Lots of people have been wanting to see the new missile system, and I've been waiting on playing around with it until I was going to field it, because if it's like being shown the toy that you're gonna get for Christmas 4 days beforehand, but the insistence is you still don't get to do anything with it until Christmas. It's such a tease. So I wanted to only actually dive into this weapon when we had the engineers to put together the Shellcracker to use it. Now let's pull all of these off, because we're not going to be using any of these for now. What kind of motors do we have? Ooh, only the basic types. That's not a great situation. I mean, I guess I do have this one as well. And of course we do have the electric motors, but this isn't amazing. So unamazing, actually, that I think we're going to forego having the Shellcracker with an energy shield at all. And instead I'm going to red line these so that we can actually get some more power. But let's go over to the weapon itself and actually check this out then. So, let's turn this on. Immediately you can see why a couple of comments have said, yeah, no, this is really great at killing your own mechs. It's also great at killing a lot of other things, but it's really good at killing your own mechs. So, first and foremost, let's just agree that we're going to need some accuracy on this, because the normal, I don't care about how the rockets are launching, they'll get to their target eventually, and it'll be accurate. I don't want this launching sideways, because we might be closer to a wall than I would like, and this might take longer to course correct than I would like, and us losing our lance to friendly fire is going to be the worst loss. So let's say that first and foremost, and let's also give a generous minimum attack zone. Let's yeah, sure, let's say you can't engage something that is 300 meters or closer. Anything further out, that's okay. Now let's have a look at the other stats. If we were to punch all of this in, my god, the damage on that is amazing. And I'm fairly certain, yeah, the radius goes up with the amount of damage done. The armor penetration is bonkers. The damage is bonkers. And at this point, we are going to go with accuracy. I don't care about anything else at this point. I want this to not clip a wall on its way. But now that we've done that, we can have a look at a couple of other things. Let's have a look at it. Acceleration does basically nothing for this. I guess it might move a little bit faster, but it's not really noticeable to me. Increased penetration, don't really need that one. But the armor penetration of 95... I have no idea if there's anything in this game that has that much armor. Also, is that trail... I love how this implies that our missile doesn't leave a trail by itself unless I put rocket assist on it. So now we liked missiles so much we put mini missiles on our missile. Fantastic, I love it. But I mean, the penetration is completely overboard. We could go with multiple shots, though this weapon already fires fairly slowly. But let's have a look at the damage here. I mean, the damage is nice, but it's not going to fire again for ages. This definitely would make the weapon very, very effective in terms of ammo use, but not very effective in killing anything. I mean, you know, it's stripping a lot of armor. Did 1,500 damage. What is the armor on an Ares? 12 armor on an Ares. Is there anything else I really want to care about right now? 12 armor. Oh, a floss has 14. Calibra has 4. And then we get to the crate. Yeah, 20 is... Well, we don't know what this one has. 20 is the highest one that we see. Let's pop this up to 12, because that's what most things are. There's only a few things that are higher than that. So if we've got... On a rocket, it doesn't lose penetrative force over distance. So whatever this penetration is whatever the penetration is going to be when it hits. So if we've got more than 20, we don't need any more. That's just over-penetrating. And the rocket doesn't go through it. It explodes on contact. You don't really need it. Slow, I have never seen a use for slow on missile systems. Maybe the rockets because they're fast enough firing, but I can't imagine this is ever really going to pile up enough slow, because I think that's the impact itself rather than the damage of the weapon. I don't think it does more slow based on more damage, which is why some suggestions for the dig rig we'll be looking into a little bit later regarding the slow 20mm rotary cannon. Fire. Now, the fire effect should be based on the AoE that comes from damage. So this potentially does a lot of damage there. Okay, I kind of like that. Let's drop your damage right... Oh, sorry, your armor. Oh, wow. If you've got less than 10 armor, then we start seeing what the damage of the fire is doing. Now, this is probably not able to strip the armor fast enough for that to really be a big part of the equation, because the impact is going to do a huge amount of damage by itself. But this is still high enough penetration for us. But if your armor is low, let's drop it all the way to 0. Let's have a watch of how much damage. That's 63,000, I think that was. That is ridiculous. So this would take out entire swarms of Operarius. And possibly even smaller things, like the Flagellum doesn't have that much armor, I don't believe. Let's see. Yeah, it only has 6 armor. So the Brucus, the Ovum, the Flagellum, and the Operarius. Also the Fulgur. And that's about it. They would be taking massive fire damage from this. This would be effective against them, but I'm not really sure that this is perfect for us. I would want a... You know, the mech is called Shellcracker for a reason. Let's have a look at shards. Now, we're not seeing huge... Oh, okay, never mind. We are now seeing huge damage. Now. Oh, it's still going up. Never mind. All right. This is a... That is stripping absolute ridiculous amounts of armor. Okay. This would be able to, I imagine, suppress something's armor completely. I've had a comment that mentioned that armor can regenerate on enemies. So that's something we definitely need to be aware of. But I would imagine this could suppress even a boss's armor regeneration, assuming it's scaled to the amount of armor they start with. 20 armor when we're stripping 107 every few seconds. And it's a pretty good damage output there. Finally, we've got critical. Let's have a look at what kind of damage this is going to do. Oh, okay. We are now firing mini nukes. That's lovely. But it's actually lower damage than the shards. But it's probably applying that damage to significantly more things. So, yeah, I guess you would have to pick and choose with that. Oh, I imagine this would be amazing at clearing terrain as well. If you're shooting an enemy close to a rock face, you're going to take out the rock face as well as the enemy. Granted, if you're anywhere near the rock face, you're also taking yourself out. So, maybe... I'm thinking with this missile, the shards are where I want it to be. It does a decent amount of damage in this AoE, but then just stacks the rest of that damage. Now, let again check what that damage would be in the AoE. Let's go to the triple enemies and just have a watch. So that's 522 damage taken, 9 damage being removed. Let's see what it would be here. Yeah, 522, 9 damage being removed. I'm not sure if it's removing it from all of them. I would love to see little damage numbers above the individual targets so I could see that information. But this is okay. Alright. I think, though, if we're going with this, we're going to go all in and have the shards and see that immense damage being applied. There's a potential damage of 8,000. If we had something else also working on the armor, like 200 armor being pulled off there. Let's have a look at what this would do here. Would the shards even reach that far? I think they might, actually. Yes, I'm fairly certain these shards are getting all the way through and hitting the other target. Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on this. And I think if we have this minimum firing range, while it isn't going to guarantee that they're going to be safe, we're going to have to pick and choose when this weapon is active. So, it's already very heavy. It's a 72 weight weapon. Can we even put that on the Shellcracker? Will the Shellcracker even be able to accommodate that weapon? Is a question. We're going to need a reactor, though. I believe this is it's an external reactor. Good, good, good. All right, let's pop that on the Shellcracker, because we're not going to really need internal cooling for this one. Let's pop you there. Now, we want at least enough orcs heat sinks to get us up to... Well, actually, that's enough for what we're going to need. All right, that's good. And since we're going to be potentially fielding... Well, to a lot of places which are going to have wind and fire, I think. Yeah, the wasteland, the desert scene, that appears to be a common thing there. Let's pop on some regular armor as well to give us a little bit more impact resistance. Now then, the question here is we need a lot more weight. Like a lot more weight. So, I'm not too worried about the heat from reload. Sure, that's quite a lot. But we're only going to be reloading occasionally, and I feel that we're going to otherwise be cooling down most of the time. We can pop a little bit more power in here, so let's go ahead and do that. Is this the mech that's going to need all of them? I think maybe it is. Let's go all in on the energy, only for running our the motors down. Ah, no, we're not going to be able to manage that. Unless we can put... Well, even pulling the energy from this, we're not going to be there. Alright, so we're not going to be able to do that. We need other motors then. Pop that one in. Is it possible for me to yoink a motor from, for example, the Shellcracker or the dig rig? Sorry, the Marshmallow or the dig rig? It's possible. I would have to lower some of your armor, but I think that's okay. Pop that in, see what the damage is. Let's just reduce this for now. I'm going to be changing this out a little bit. And I'm going to take from the coating first, or maybe keeping the coating up nice and high is going to be important with the Shellcracker out and about. But let's hook this up, see what we can do with the energy we've got. So, with that remaining energy, let's continue redlining the motors, get as much carry capacity as we can possibly manage. I don't think we can do another one. No, we can't. And for that reason, let's just do 2 on each. There we go. Keep the energy loads symmetric. Alright. So with that in place, we've now got enough room to get some armor on as well. So I'm alright with that. But it is possible that we could also pop a smaller rocket launcher on this. However, doing that really does mean that we're not going to have any armor whatsoever. And the other issue with that is this is going to drink ammo. So maybe we don't do that. Maybe instead we're going to pop on a drone. Sure, this can repair the mech. If we've not got a shield, then this one's going to be more likely to take damage. I'm alright with that. We could have evasion. Now, it was actually pointed out to me as well, and thank you so much. I'm getting so much amazing tips in the comments. Every mech has base stats. Now, it isn't immediately obvious, and unfortunately I've put a bunch of stuff on here, but you can see that the resistance, the stability regen, the evasion chance, different mech chassis have different evasion chances, and also weight plays a huge part in it. The unused weight here, additional speed gained from unused weight, and all of these base characteristics, that's what the plus 25% is affecting. So for evasion rating or stability regen. These are important figures. If we pop that in, for example, we'd only get up to 20%. Whereas, and 0.17 stability regen. These things are where the pilot's personal abilities start coming into play. Nevertheless, I might keep that there just for a little bit of extra evasion chance, though realistically, I don't intend for this one to be up close and personal, so maybe we can just pop this one in there. Our max outside temp now is only 219 though, and that's a little bit unfortunate because we're redlining and in fact undervolting the missile launcher and overvolting the motors. I think for future proofing we're going to pop this one in there. I know we don't really need this, but I would rather have that than extra ammo. Right, with all of this, I strongly suspect we're not going to really see a problem with running this in a hot environment. We're going to take the temperature way up, like right to its max, and then we're going to move it down to about where I expect it to be. About 149, I believe, was where we wanted it to be. There we go, and now we're just going to move back until the missile will start firing. We'll get a chance to observe how slowly we burn through this ammo. Very slowly. I would be shocked. Basically, at this point, we just need to see where the mech will sit when under normal circumstances, based on temperature alone, and it looks like somewhere in the 55% mark. That is, with the cost of reload being 11.25. We're not, for 9 seconds, we're not going to generate enough heat to push us above that point. And the ammo efficiency of this weapon, what we were just observing, how slowly it was burning through its ammo, means that we are almost certainly going to have enough time to get back to back down to our settling temperature. So I'm not worried about that at all. So I think, at risk of saying this prematurely, I think the Shellcracker is ready for deployment. It's going to cost us 96 engineers. That's actually a lot less than I was expecting. I'm really happy with that. But the final thing that we need to do, and don't worry, I didn't forget, is to pop on some armor. Now, we've got a fair old bit of weight to play with if we want to, so why not, eh? Let's go ahead and pop on the best armor plates we can. How many of them we've got? We don't really have that many, so I think this one's going to be the the number 2 or the third, the heaviest bulk armor at 9 weight for 6 armor. It's not giving us a whole lot of punch, but then we can use the 6 for 8, and that gives us a 22 passive armor. Very, very respectable, and we can even get a couple of extra layers of ablative armor there. But there we go. Let's go ahead and pop the Shellcracker out there, and if you do well, Shellcracker, you will get a bit of time in the paint station. Now, coming back to the dig rig. Cut the Wolf noticed that when I removed the laser from the dig rig, I failed to swap the evasion auxiliaries back to ammo auxiliaries. I do apologize, that you're quite correct. Also, Lion Warrior suggested prioritizing the rate of fire for the dig rig, slowing rotary cannon, and also reducing the range a bit, so that the dig rig kind of functions within its primary role more. Because right now we've kind of got a middle ground. And while I don't mind having the slowing rotary cannon able to engage things when I'm not using the dig rig away from the group and digging walls, that is largely what I use the dig rig for. And so having a weapon that is much more focused on doing the job I expect it to do, and that is just deal with imminent threats to the dig rig itself, or extremely near threats to the Lance if it's moving with the group, that would actually work out better for us. So first and foremost, I'm going to switch out the auxiliaries for ammo. Thank you very much for pointing that out. We've got our little shield there, but let's go ahead and adjust this weapon a bit. So currently, let's even have a look at this. Now, presently, sure, I could probably bring it in a little bit, because the other thing about having it engage closer is that we will be able to forego some of the accuracy modifiers that we've got and just peel those back and dump them into rate of fire, which on this weapon really increases the rate of fire. Now, making sure that it only engages fairly nearby enemies will mean that whilst these bullets are capable of penetrating reasonably far away, in fact, we probably don't even need this kind of penetration. Let's pull it all the way down to a 4, because, again, it loses penetrative force as it travels. Let's pop this to the level of Operarius, which is the thing that the dig rig is built to combat, and it's penetrating with all of its shots. So with that extra damage, we can just really jam these up. Now, this isn't going to kill an Operarius in one hit. It's still going to take 2 hits at this point. If we have a look there, they've got 13 health, so 8 damage. which might be a little bit lower at this point. But we are spraying so many bullets downfield, and this is really an anti-swarm weapon at its heart. We want the dig rig to be able to deal with operarians that have snuck up on it while it's mining, and not really care about other things. And that is the other benefit of having a reduced firing rate, is if a primary target is over here, it's going to keep on digging. It's not going to care about this until it's this close, and then it will turn around and start engaging. And possibly slowing down its digging or movement, whatever that might be. I think you're bang on the money with that. I think that is a very reasonable thing to do. And while this is going to drink the ammo a bit faster, overall I think this is going to be okay. Certainly a swarm of operarians, because this is going through a few of them, it's going to be imparting that slow effect onto the whole group, and that might well do a lot for us. So I think this is a better weapon design for the way I'm going to be using the dig rig. So let's go ahead and pop the dig rig in there. Usually I do tend towards, let's go for accuracy over just spraying bullets, but the whole idea of the dig rig engaging is it's engaging a swarm that is bearing down upon it while it's digging. I might even be tempted to reduce the range even further, but for now we'll just keep it where it's at right there. So with that, we should be good, I imagine. Let's have a look. I think that's everything else we needed. We have got, I mean, it's not the best reload speed, so we probably do need to just test it in the environment that we're going to be putting it into. So let's just get the temperature nice and hot there, and then bring the temperature to around where it's going to need to be. Now this is managing to pull back. Now what I'm looking for here is whether it can get back to its settling point before it has to reload. So we want to see how hot it gets during a reload. Now it's getting very hot. It actually, at that point, got all the way up there. Now, to be fair, I did push it a lot harder than normal. So let's just wait for it to get to its settling point, and then I'm going to test that out. And I'll bring you back to let you know whether or not we can trust the dig rig to be able to reload without overheating. Okay, I very much doubt that this is even going to pass the third reload, because the second reload we were at 99.8% of the reactor's temperature, but it is possible that we might actually just come just under the threshold, but we will see, as it is obviously faster to pull the cooling down, but I very much imagine we're about to overload. No, we'll go one more time, but we might actually just be sitting just before the 100% mark. And while that is amusing, we had to shed a little bit of evasion. We shed about 5% of our evasion chance and 0.05% of our stability regen in order to go with this configuration. And I think I would prefer... Yeah, that is amazing. You are literally stood on the knife's edge right now, dig rig, in terms of heat. But no, let's go back with the original one. We'll go with a slower reload and more frequent reload in favor of being able to handle the ambient temperatures better and just being better at dodging. Because again, that's the dig rig isn't really here to be shooting a lot. It is mostly as a defensive tactic that it has that. Now, that is one last thing. Dig rig absolutely is a defensive mech. By nature, it's defensive. You are a really good candidate for a drone. Also because you're the most likely to get swarmed and take little bits of damage here and there that the drone would be able to slowly repair. So, now that we know that this works, it's going to be a very simple test. Can we work without this ammo? Because I don't want to lose anything else. I can, of course, put the drone over here instead. But can we get by without the ammo at all? So we're going to go up from a 9.24 second reload to a 9.84 second reload. That isn't actually that much bigger, but we've only got a firing time of 3 seconds now with the dig rig, which may make all the difference. Also, we have to shed a little bit more coating. All right, let's have a look at how this goes. I'm kind of amused by this one, but this is honestly the big part of the game, is just tweaking and actually engineering the mechs. It's in the name. Let's pull the temperature down to about 150. There we go. And we'll see how this does. It's getting all the way up to about 87% this time. It only got up to 86 previously, but we'll see how this does. If the second reload is no higher than 87%, then I'm going to say it's got enough headroom that even if it is creeping up by the smallest amount each time, by the time it's in the sort of the mid-90s, the cooling efficiency will be so much higher at that point that it will likely have stabilized around there. So I'm fairly happy with what we're looking at. Plus, now the dig rig has the ability to repair itself. In a pinch, it can unleash an awful lot of bullets towards an Operaria swarm that is bearing down on it, and then retreat. And it's not going to get too distracted while it's drilling or it's retreating by just other potential targets nearby. They have to really be close by for this to care. And given that, I think the final thing we're going to do, and yes, we are actually going to do it, I'm going to pull the range of this gun in even further, to about here. If it is further away than that, the dig rig doesn't care about it. The dig rig is there mostly as a defensive platform, and this further solidifies it as a defensive platform with the drone. We need to get our dig rig operators, our tanky boys, with drone repairs as a skill. That will be amazing. Then we'll have 2 dig rigs very similarly equipped, and they will be able to be fielded and help the rest of the group with their drone repairs. It doesn't need much ammo regeneration because it's not there as a fighter. It is there to support, and this works perfectly in that capacity. All right, let's go ahead and field you those 56 engineers. Are we going to have enough to play around with both the Firestorm and the Marshmallow? Well, that is a big question, actually. Let's have a look. We've got a slowing cannon on the Firestorm, and I'm sort of feeling that maybe we could do something better there. What we lack, though, is enough carry capacity for it. If we only had these motors everywhere on this, I could probably field it with 2 cannons and a laser. But let's have a quick look at the laser. I've had a couple of folks saying that I haven't limited the laser to its proper firing range, and it looks like I have with this one at the very least. So we'll keep that one around there. But now that we know a little bit more about it, do we really want this as fire? I think so. We probably don't need more accurate. I think this is probably as good a design for this weapon as we're going to get. So I'm actually going to copy it across to this one while we've got it here. There we go. That'll do quite nicely. But as for the Firestorm itself, we need a bit more heat resistance, because 172 just isn't going to cut it where we're going. Regarding the ammo situation, probably don't need it. We definitely could bring a drone. We've got enough AUX slots for that, and I don't need the armor module. I really, really don't feel that we need the armor module. Now, I would love to be able to run this with 2 fire lasers. I think that would make the Firestorm absolutely brutal. And then keep this for the long-range engagements. However, I don't think we're really going to be able to make that work. Wow. Are you really that much heavier? Oh, of course, yeah, the drone. The drone and the heatsink, thinking about it. Okay, fair enough. Let's pull all of that down there. Let's, we might be able to get it to, yeah, we can get it to 75. There we go. It wasn't guaranteed, though. Right, let's go ahead and wire this up. There we are. I don't think we can do much better than this right now. Maybe we could adjust the rotary cannon, though. Similar sort of situation as we've got with the dig rig's rotary cannon. Just pull in the range a bit and reduce the accuracy. But I think I like the Firestorm in its current configuration. Let me just have a look at how close this weapon will fire. I don't believe I've limited it too much. I've limited it a little bit. It can fire out to a reasonable distance. So this could easily engage a Columbra outside of its shield, which is kind of what we want it for, really. For now, that should be good enough. We could pull it back a little bit more, since I think that at the edge of the shield is about this distance. And if realistically we mostly want it for that role, sure. We'll pop this in, and it'll focus on nearby threats rather than caring about more distant ones. And again, at that point, we can just pop it a little bit more into rate of fire. Whether this really works for us, you know what? Maybe we should go for something like that. We'll pull the penetration down all the way, and we will just flip over to rate of fire. Let this weapon just drink ammo. We're not going to do a lot to the enemies that aren't the Brucus or the Operarius, but we don't need to. This isn't the damage dealer of this weapons platform. This is more a support weapon on an otherwise dedicated damage dealer. And this will help it deal with little swarms that are coming towards it, because otherwise its weapons aren't the fastest. It's certainly the high-powered laser can probably deal with swarms reasonably well, but definitely the 120mm cannon is not really built for dealing with swarms. Okay, let's pop that one into the firestorm. That's going to unfortunately cost us quite a few engineers, I should imagine. But let's get you hooked up. There we are, and then we need to rewire that one as well. Actually, we don't. We don't need to rewire that one, so we won't bother. But there we go. Let's quickly test it, though, since we have changed the way it's going to be reloading. After a few reloads, we are now hovering in the realm of the low 80s. I guess that's what we're just going to have to go with for now. And that is if we want a drone on every single mech. And we probably don't. But until we've got some dedicated drone operators in the squad, I would rather have more drones and less other auxiliaries than anything else. Whether that is the right play to make, it's arguable. We could perhaps maximize our auxiliaries to be able to do more damage more quickly and thus need less time in a mission. So, being able to repair damage is less of an important one. But for now, I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and field the Firestorm. A big part of this game is trying out different tactics, and I'm happy to give them a go. Now, the final bit of work we need to do, assuming that we can, is first and foremost, are we okay with temperatures? Yeah, we're very okay with temperatures here. Very, very okay. Let's have a look at our rapid fire laser. First and foremost, it was pointed out that I had forgotten to set up the maximum distance. Thank you very much. I honestly thought I had on the Marshmallow. I was thinking that maybe I'd made the mistake on the Firestorm, but apparently it was the Marshmallow all along. Now, currently we are running with the crit mod, and we're doing about 1.4 thousand potential damage with an armor strip of about 10. Having seen the difference that rate of fire has made for the rotary cannon, and given that this is a high-speed laser, it's not really getting the most bang for buck out of increases to its impact. How about we do the same thing that we did with the rotary cannon? Now, I do want some accuracy still, but maybe not even on that. But let's go ahead and pull this down a little bit, because this is just raw damage. It's very good at stripping armor. Let's see what it can do. So if we've got maximum in this for critical, we're doing what? 1,178-ish? Let's see what we do with maximum rate of fire. We are actually pushing it a little bit further. Now we're going to be... Oh, okay, we're pushing it quite a lot further. We're almost doubling the amount of damage we're doing. But we've probably significantly increased the heat that we're going to be generating with this laser. Now, this is actually a better swarm weapon now. Because, yes, each shot doesn't penetrate, but each shot is... we're firing these shots so blisteringly fast that it doesn't matter. We'll probably be dumping quite a lot of damage into our enemies. Let's have a look. Now, if we went with fire on this, how much... Oh my god, okay, so 20,000 damage. Probably be... Okay, let's see. How high can we take this number? Okay, we've lost any damage from there. At 9 and below, we're doing like 4,000 damage at an armor of 9. We're stripping the armor away so fast that the fire is actually starting to take effect. That is very nice. And if we lower that down to Brucus level, 20,000 damage. This would just pop a Brucus. This would easily pop a swarm of Operari. Like a big swarm of Operari would be popped with this weapon. at this point. But it can't be understated how much heat this is generating. We could probably even just pull that away and just see if it can maintain... Well, my lord, this thing is inaccurate when you don't have any accuracy invested. Okay, never mind. We are always going to want a fairly high degree of accuracy. But let's have a look at some of the others. Let's see. So we've got like 24,000 on a armor of 4. I can't imagine anything is going to beat that. Yeah, this isn't even doing damage because it's having to strip away the armor and it's not hitting as frequently anymore. But would this be a better potential damage against a higher armor foe like an Ares? So that's potential damage of 12, armor stripping of 10. And, you know, it's got a nice spread on it. It might be okay if we went back to fire. What would the fire be doing? Much more consistent, but a little bit lower. I think fire really has to be the one we go for here. Let's see what accelerator. Now, this is going to push the energy up way, way up. This is now pulling 30 energy. And it is doing a nice bit of damage, don't get me wrong. Actually, on that note, let's triple wire this. It's now pulling 45 energy. We wouldn't be able to afford 45 energy. But let's see what 45 energy with this does. 30 energy with this does. Okay, that's actually an appreciable amount of damage. And for a scatter shot weapon like that, that's actually very nice. Let's see what that would be if we went with crit. So that's about 2,000 potential damage. Crit is pushing that up. No, it's actually pulling it back down now. It's stabilizing. So it's roughly the same, I would say. I would say the scatter shot is the better one in that instance then. Because against a larger opponent, more of the shots are going to hit it. So, for example, if we did something like this and pulled it in. Okay, so the damage critical at this point is, if it's hitting every shot, about 32. Let's see what it is with scatter shot. Pop that in. It's creeping over. It's just a little bit more. Not actually that much more, but it would potentially be quite nice against a swarm over this. But obviously we could then look at fire. And while the potential damage has gone down, because we're not stripping the armor fast enough, if that armor dropped below 9, the potential damage starts skyrocketing. It becomes absolutely obscene. At Brucus level, it's 40,000. At Operaris level, it's between 40,000 and 50,000. Is the Marshmallow a big creature killer, or is it more of a small creature killer? Hard to say, but we would have more than just the Marshmallow attacking a Brucus. And I'm an Ares, and I'm fairly certain this... Well, I've got nothing really to go on it. It's just got a gut feeling, I guess, that this isn't demonstrating how actual combat would work versus the armors. Because, I don't know, a 9 cutoff seems very arbitrary. Very arbitrary indeed. And it doesn't seem to matter about the damage. Though, let's pull all this down and put it all into damage and see if this starts punching through. No, it really doesn't. It seems that we've got enough armor strip, but it just doesn't apply fire effects. Yeah, we're pulling more armor off in a 5-second period than this should have. So unless enemies are regenerating armor at blistering rates, I could only assume that this would start really messing up an Ares. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this, but now we've got a bit of tweaking to do to try and make this work. Because this is going to be a very, very hot weapon. Alright, so currently, if we have a look at the energy requirements, where within energy requirements we are heavier, but the heat from reload is 8.73, not something we need to worry about, and the heat from shot is 0.39. Actually, not as bad as I was expecting. Alright, well, let's just adjust the armor then, get that within the acceptable limits. Now, the Marshmallow, I haven't made a second dig rig. The Marshmallow isn't a second dig rig. Or at least I'm not thinking of it that way. The Marshmallow is simply a main part of the lance that has melee capabilities. It could drill if I wanted it to, but that's what the dig rig is for. The Marshmallow is more there as something that can cut off tentacles if it starts attacking. But I see the concern there that I took the laser off the dig rig and then gave it to effectively another dig rig, but that hasn't been my intention. But let's go ahead and run a quick test and see how this does. I'm going to pull the generator up to about 75% and then pull it down to the correct temperature and see where it can stabilize. Since this weapon doesn't reload, we only need to know where it stabilizes. That's the only thing. And honestly, it is stabilizing somewhere very nice. I'm actually shocked. Legitimately shocked. This is amazing. Okay, we can definitely play with this. We've even still got some headroom on energy. If I'd realized that, I'd have taken more motors off the Marshmallow. But okay, I think the Marshmallow is a very capable weapon at this point. Let's maybe peel off one of the capacitors for a drone. I would like to see the drones used more until we've got some dedicated defensive pilots. Let's get the heat back up there. And pull it back down to the correct amount. Yeah, that seems to have added around about 10% to the reactor's operating temperature, and that's absolutely acceptable. Alright, I think that is it for the redesign for now. Now, I realize a large part of this video has already been just tweaking designs we've had. We had a little bit of fun with a brand new weapon with the Shellcracker. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly check on how much time this episode is going to run to, and then we will be back to run a mission and maybe a second day, time willing. So be right back. And I'm back. Okay, looking at the footage that we've got so far, with mindful of the cuts that I'm going to be adding in, we are almost an entire episode as it is. So we're going to be jumping into missions in just a moment. But this does give me an opportunity to request some direct feedback on this, as I have, I believe I've mentioned it even, had a couple of comments that have pointed out that the typical kind of episode length of about an hour and 15 minutes is a little bit much for some people to be able to keep pace with on the daily. Now, the way I can juggle this is either on one part I can cut out a lot of the testing and the tuning of the mechs, which I don't know, it feels a little bit like I'm cutting out some of the main components of the game. This is Mech Engineer after all. It would be like cutting out the actual tactical combat out of XCOM and just giving you the debrief summary of how the mission went at the end of it. Or I can continue more or less as we're going, but with as we encounter more situations together, there'll be less need for me to showcase the full testing, as I did in this episode a little bit, with like cutting out the testing of where the overheats might happen and making sure that the mechs could run in a certain temperature. If you've seen that happen once, you know roughly what I'm going to do every time. But I would very, very much appreciate your feedback on this one. Would you prefer less cuts and more of the in-the-moment commentary and watching me learn and hearing my thoughts on what I expect to come out of a scenario, then testing it and then kind of reflecting on what the end result was compared to what I was expecting and learning via that way? Or would you be happier with more of the quick summary at the end of something along the lines of, I'm going to adjust the dig rig's weapon based on comments, and then you come back to me having changed the auxiliary modules, the motors, so on and so forth, and just a quick bullet point list of, I changed the weapon in this way and I adjusted the mech to be able to fit it. Let me know down below. I imagine there's going to be a little bit of a mixture. There are no wrong answers to this, and I will try to accommodate as best I can the optimal middle ground. But with all of that said and done, like I said, it is time for us to run some missions with our newly tweaked mechs. We've got the Marshmallow, the Firestorm, the Dig Rig, and the Shellcracker, who have all had a bit of an adjustment. Now, we can either run two separate missions, and I think that might be the better way of doing it. Both of them are going to have areas, which is a bit of a problem. But this one is by far the hotter of the areas, though honestly, at this point, I think all of our mechs are more or less capable of running in this. And definitely, I would say this group is more than likely going to be the better one for that. I'm going to take out, let's say, 4 people for this one, and then we'll have a lance of 3 taking on the wasteland with the slightly lower temperatures. Though that being said, this is the one that does have the flagellum, so maybe I should adjust that a little bit. You know what? Sure. Let's get our pilots in position, but we are going to be taking some folks out differently. We're going to have the firestorm going out, and that means Phoenix Talir is going to be running that one. We are also going to be having the dig rig, and so let's grab encrypt for the dig rig. Let's find you encrypt, assuming that you're in a good enough position to do it. Yeah, I think the reactions are a little bit low, but we can work on that. That shouldn't be a problem in and of itself. And finally, I think we're just going to grab someone who's got a particularly good relationship with Phoenix here. Let's have a look, and that would be sounds like you just get on with everyone. You're very agreeable. But I think I would like to leave you for Mini Murgle's land. So I think instead we are going to bring along Synthetic Samurai, who has actually no relation. That's interesting, but let's bring you along anyway. We're just going to take the dig rig out, the firestorm, and the shell cracker, and hopefully this is going to be enough to handle the mission here in the desert. Now, this has got... Ooh, that's actually got a very interesting map there. What's the other one like? I mean, it's interesting, but in a different way. But all right, let's go and check this one out. We're going to have 5 nests, 3 Brucus. There's no particular resource modifiers here, but we are going to have to deal with Ares. Now, given that, I am going to say that Brucus are going to be a target for... Yeah, I'm going to tell Shellcracker, you go for the Brucus. Sorry, let's pop you over there. However, in the Firestorm, I want you going for the Ares. I would like the Firestorm to prioritize the Ares, and finally, Digrig, you can deal with the Operarius. Our goal here is to eliminate the nests. Eliminate the nests as quickly as possible. Don't get distracted by other things. If we get the Brucus, we get the Brucus. If we don't, we don't. And that is just the way it's gonna go. I don't think we're in such a bad position in terms of our resources that I need to prioritize the Brucus right now, but hopefully we will clear them out as well. All right. Let's see how this handles. Now, oh, right, okay, so we've just started right next to a tornado. How lovely. And on the topic of tornadoes, I apologize for the little cut there. I didn't have my comment notepad on screen as I'd been doing the video editing and hadn't brought it back up. But I did remember that someone had mentioned something about tornadoes, and that was Aliki Moko pointed out that rocket explosions can destroy tornadoes if they land correctly, but you can't target the tornado directly, which is very, very interesting. But okay, let's go into full screen mode as usual, and we're actually going to change the camera mode. Sure, let's use this one for now. We've got 1, 2 nests there, 3, 4, and where's the fifth? It's all the way over there. That's kind of annoying, but okay. We want to get away from this tornado as quickly as we possibly can. Oh, it's going straight for us. That is ultra bad. Given that, then we're just going to go straight up here if we can. Move as quickly as you're able. Oh dear, you really do need to move. Very much just like when... Oh, actually, no, it's going up. Never mind. I guess we're just going to hold here then. How about we just reposition over in this corner? The Shellcracker is doing its thing already, which is kind of amazing. You continue to do that thing, please and thank you. You've got a sunspot appearing. Shellcracker, I would love it if you would, in fact, engage a little bit more. Looks like... Oh! It looks like you did... Wow, okay, so you have already removed that tornado. That is amazing. Well done indeed. The bugs are actually being blown straight over to us, which does kind of suck a little bit, I must confess. We want to take out the nest up top here if we're able to. I would very much like it if we could just get up there, get rid of that, because that's the furthest away, and we've got an Ares right there, which is going to be a problem, I should imagine. Oh, here it comes. Ow! Well, that is definitely something that we knew was going to be a possibility. Okay, so Digrig took very little damage there, but the Shellcracker and the Firestorm both took a bunch of damage, and looks like Synthetic Samurai didn't see their full vitality to begin with, but they are looking a bit rough. That is a problem. However, both of them have drones, I believe. I believe Shellcracker and Firestorm. In fact, I think this entire group has drones, so they may be able to manage this, and that will help out a bit. Let's get up there, though. Let's try and remove this Ares before it becomes a big problem. I think it's already been slowed down quite a lot, actually. It would be ideal if it could be prioritized. I would love to tell you to prioritize it, but I'm a little bit concerned. Right, everyone look for it. There we go. Let's get the fire on it, please and thank you. It has mostly been removed, it seems. It seems that when I tell them to prioritize a target, though, even the short-range engagement will go for it, which is not exactly what I want. Let's move up. Let's move up a little bit closer at the very least. We are pushing that thing back. Wow, okay, I greatly approve of that. But we're going to pause this here. We're going to move up, try and remove that nest. Once that's gone, we only have to focus in one direction. We took a lot of damage already, and I'm deeply saddened by that, but you know what? On a map with winds like this and the Ares literally charging straight into the Shellcracker, it was guaranteed that something like that would eventually happen. I'm not too worried about it. As far as avoidable situations go, I don't think it was too avoidable. Oh, wow, you've already repaired all of the damage. Have you completely repaired the... You've completely repaired the damage to the armor, too. Okay. Okay, that actually does change things quite a lot. That is a huge help for us. Alright, I need that Ares removed down here. And now that it has been removed, let's creep a little bit closer. Somewhere about here, ideally. If we can get into this position, I imagine Shellcracker... Well, Shellcracker isn't prioritizing the ovums, but we may still see Shellcracker take it out. Now, what I don't want is what's about to happen. Exactly that. Someone was so far ahead of the Shellcracker that they were probably outside of its minimum firing distance, and thus the Shellcracker may well have just prioritized them, which would have ended quite badly for us, I feel. Right, let's continue making our way down. Let's try and get to about here. And from there, if we're lucky, Shellcracker will destroy this just by aiming at the Operarius. Let's actually change our plans a little bit, because those turrets are right there. And this is a little bit of concern for me, I must confess. Looks like we do have range on this, though. We might be able to deal with that. But the Ares is charging forward, and I disapprove. Have we taken it out yet? No, we have not. Okay. We've got two Ares now that we're kind of needing to deal with, which isn't the best thing for me. There we go. Taking a little bit more damage, sadly. Let's have a look. Okay, damage-wise, not doing too terribly bad. I imagine the drones will be able to fix that for us, but we need a better angle on the nest down here. So let's just creep down by here. From there, Firestorm should be able to engage the ovum, and the rest of the mechs will be able to clear up the... Oh, perfect. The Shellcracker finally got rid of all of that for us. Now, I could have used Digrig for that, but honestly, on this map right now, I'm somewhat reluctant to have Digrig separate from the group. Thank goodness these only deposit Operarius, though. That could be quite terrible if it did not. Right, we really do need this removed, though. And it looks like we're really not doing enough damage to punch through the Ares with the laser. That being said, it did eventually get nixed, so... right, we've got another nest just over there. This wind is a real problem. I want to try and avoid getting too close to these walls. Let's just get all the way down here for now, and then we will plan our attack. I may use Digrig from this point, but we need to push through. This wind is causing an enormous amount of damage for us. We have repaired the hull point damage to the mechs, but the armor is damaged. And that is not going to go away, I should imagine. Please, no. Okay, so you two need to duck down here. We are split up a little bit around here, which is not ideal, I'm going to be honest with you. Especially because you're about to be dealing with the Ares, right? So, Ares...
Danger. Artillery fire.
Let's drop some artillery fire on these locations.
Fire.
I want to remove the rocks in the way. Hopefully that's enough to take out an Ares. If not, oh, I am very concerned. And you know what? I am very concerned. Alright, well, let's have you two move up and ideally engage that nest. But dig rig down here, you desperately need to not be there anymore. Granted, you have a slow cannon, which is, it seems, keeping the Ares there out of the way. You are both heading straight towards that tornado. Because I told you to, which is on me. Thankfully, it looks like they're being thrown back, actually. It looks like Digrig just managed to dodge the Ares, which is particularly nice. But that tornado is a real problem for us, so we're going to have to relocate. Digrig, are you able to manage this right now? Looks like Digrig is. Ow! Bloody tornado just spun a rocket straight into the Digrig. How are you doing there, Encrypt? Doing okay for the time being, but this definitely could be a lot better. Where is... Wow. How did you end up there, Synthetic Samurai, exactly? I'm going to put my money on Tornado. That tornado has caused us an awful lot of problems so far, I must confess. Especially because it's driving the bugs straight into us over and over and over. And it's something I would very much like us to try and avoid. The environmental hazards are genuinely proving to be a bit of an issue here. Right, engage the... can you... Oh no, that's Shellcracker. My bad there. I thought that was Firestorm, and the Firestorm would be able to handle all of that, but no. Firestorm was down here. But it looks like some of this is moved, and we should be able to advance now on the ovum. But my feelings so far about the Shellcracker are maybe not on windy maps. I think by and large we are able to control it, but just not on windy maps. That just that throws too many unknowns into the scenario. I wouldn't mind the Shellcracker. Yeah, there we go. Shellcracker managed to remove the obstruction there, which is perfect for us. Now, if we could just scooch up there. Oh, damn it, I wasn't paused. My bad. Let's just scooch up there. We should be able to remove the ovum completely. There we go. Perfect. And now the only remaining ovum is past the Columbra, and I'm okay with trying to take that on as is. We're going to leave this to the Digrig. Digrig should be able to remove all of this. Digrig is doing a really good job with that right now. Even dealing with the Ares there relatively well, considering, but it is a little bit harder. The slowing bullets are pushing the Ares back, which is working to our advantage. Still got one left to remove, and I would like it if that would be removed as a priority. There we go. Now, let's continue advancing here. The Firestorm is doing a good job of targeting this. Really, Tornado, must you? Follow me around. I swear, it's as if it's actually targeting us. I feel that it's very rude. Very exceptionally rude, in fact. Right, Digrig, at this point, I actually need you to charge in and just go straight for the Columbra. You should be able to pause it with your attacks from there. So Digrig is no longer going to be with the rest. Oh, good lord, what just happened? Oh no, never mind. That was one of the Ares. That's fine. I don't mind that being pulled away. Let's try and take care of all of this. Well done. Oh, damn it. You weren't able to slow it in time. We do need to get away from this then. Let's move around. Do your best.
Slow down.
Digrig, need you to move up behind the Columbra. You've basically locked your allies out of this fight, which is a problem as they're the best ones for dealing with this particular fight. Yeah, you just move over there. Stay as far away from the areas as you possibly can. Continue to engage.
Slow down.
that was possibly a bad place to have you. You scoped that way. We'll move Shellcracker over this direction. We have no more shields. This is getting all over the place, and there's a lot. Oh, thank goodness! Ow. Okay, so did you just hit Digrig twice just for lulls? All right, so yeah, Shellcracker, even with a lower yield weapon here, not the best. We took a lot of damage, and what's more is a lot of that was vitality damage, I think. But surprisingly, we come back probably with just armor damage as a consequence of all of the drones. Okay, let's have a quick look. Temperature added by energy weapons, huge amount. That's not too surprising. And I honestly expected this group to do the best. So that says a lot for the fight that's coming up next. Granted, I was not micromanaging the whether Synthetic Samurai was allowed to fire the missile weapon, and if I had, that would have absolutely made this a lot easier. But this is our control group for further experimentation. Seeing what it is like when I'm not micromanaging whether the weapon is turned on or turned off is going to be the basis of comparison for us. So it's an important one to have, I feel. Phoenix Celia just got level 6 though. Synthetic Samurai is heading on towards level 4, and Encrypt is starting to make some progress towards level 6, and that's going to be huge because we can get the drone then on the Digrig be a bit more useful. But let's have a quick gander here. In terms of number of attack evasions, only 1 so far. It's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen that more. We actually had some on the Shellcracker though as well. And none for the Firestorm. Okay, well, not the worst. These are the materials we got back. Let's have a look at how much it cost. Barely scratched the paint. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so I apologize for the amount of time that you guys are going to need in the hospital, and we're going to check that out straight away. Yeah, your vitality is below 47, so with Synthetic Samurai, yeah, no, fair enough. Both of you need some time in the hospital, and that's just going to be a given for now. Right, Mini Murgle, you are getting the Shepherd. Phoenix Celia, you are going to get... now that we're actually getting to the point where maybe having the drones help out would be really nice, but I still think speed is more important. No, I'm going to diverge the commanders at this point. Eventually, I want both commanders to have all 3 squad skills. But Phoenix Celia is the one that we're going to be sending out for battles that we expect to be a war of attrition. Thus, they will be able to improve the drones by a lot. That would actually be very useful. When we expect it not to be, when the speed of completing the mission is more important, we'll send out Mini Murgles. At least until they get an opportunity to balance out their abilities. Right then, Biclo with your CBS of only 62, I don't think so. Regery in Mr. Pink. We will possibly take Isham out in the Marshmallow. Now this does mean the Marshmallow is going to be targeted though, which is not exactly my favourite. No, I don't think we're going to do that. Soundsphere is going to take the Marshmallow for now. Isham is currently a reserve pilot for running the Digrig. And I think we're going to continue using it in that way. Alright, time for us to deploy. Now, of these mechs, only the Marshmallow has had an update. But the Marshmallow has had probably the biggest impact to its weapon system. Now, we are going to be going out into a wasteland. We've got 5 nests, 4 Brukas here. No resource difference, but we are going to be up against a larger cast of enemies. Actually, no, this time I am going to prioritize taking on the Ovums with Mini Murgle. We are then going to prioritize taking on the Ares with Marshmallow. We will have Mr. Pink go for the Operari, and honestly, I guess we're going to do that over here as well, because realistically, we don't have a specific shell-cracking enemy. We don't have a high armor damager other than the Marshmallow, and they're going to be going for the Ares. So let's pop Mr. Brown over here. You can go for the Flagellum as well. They're a high priority. And Shepard, just need to remove those nests as quickly as you can. Alright, now, typically Mini Murgle does worse than than Phoenix Leah. Now, this is, on the surface, an easier map. We'll see how it goes. Right. Let us get out into full screen mode. Check out where our enemies are. A Brucus. 3 of the Brucuses here. 3 of the nests. 4th nest down there. Where's the 5th? There were 5, were there not? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, 5. Okay, that's fine. Right then, we want to try and clear these nests as quickly as we possibly can. So let's just get down there in their face. Don't give them any time. We're going to be ultra aggressive on this attack. Likewise, just get down here as quickly as you're able to. Take on that Brucus while we have the opportunity to. Beautiful application of the laser there. Okay, continuing down. Going to go and grab this Brucus while we're able to once again and take out that nest as well if we can. Please and indeed thank. That laser is doing work. I am liking it. Get right in there, please. There we go. Just apply the laser to everything you can. That thing has already popped. Fantastic work. Could we get down here and take out this one quickly? We might be able to, you know. Let's get in there. Remove that nest. Of course you... Oh, no, you did. Well done. Usually the nest would have been more difficult for us to take out based only on the fact that it was under the shield and the laser wouldn't have engaged. Alright, pull back now. Let's get up here. Oh my lord, the lack of explosive damage is proving a godsend, but we are not having to deal with heavy winds, so that does change things quite a lot, actually. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't. It really does. Right, let's get back out of the way of this tornado, right up the top there. Move as a group, stick together. That is one of the things that really hampered us on the last mission, is we got separated, partially because of the wind. Well, actually, mostly because of the wind, if I'm honest. But I was slow at regrouping, and that was on me. But this is going... So is this going to be the turnaround? Is Mini Murgle finally going to replace Phoenix as the safest commander to be deployed with? Maybe people will stop hating you so much. There we go. Let's get in there. No one hates you, Mini Murgle, but I think quite a few people don't like you as much as they could. Let's remove that. Thank you. That nest is gone. And now all we need to do is get down there. We're going to go around here. Although, actually... You know what, with those Ares there, let's pull back straight away. Let the Ares go for the charge. Oh, damn it. Try and remove them as quickly as you can. We're getting overwhelmed. There are too many flagellum here. There we go. Just deal with it. Just hold position. There we go. Let's have a look. Now, Mr. Pink is taking some damage. We have only one drone here, and it will only help the marshmallow. And that is why we very much want to change this up if we're able to. All right, let's get down here. They have been slowed down because they're being forced to approach from a very disadvantageous position. Well, let's make sure that nest is gone for good. And it is. The Ares will eventually get past there, though, so I do actually want to try and just take it out while we can. Let's get up there and properly engage. Just melt it, please. Thank you ever so much. Okay. Let's get in here. Ooh, that's going to be... Actually, draw back. Never mind, it didn't actually die. Let's get up here as quickly as you can. Thank you. There we go, it is gone now. Right, just head straight in. There's nothing left on the map unless some more artillery happens. So we didn't get through this without anyone taking any damage, but we got through this without significantly less damage. But I think part of that is just because of how powerful the Marshmallow's main weapon is. Okay, I definitely think this is an improvement. Are we going to be able to capture this before the convergence of the tornado and the sunspot? Yes, we are. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad at all. A little bit of damage there on Mr. Pink, but again, that is fine. Once we've got the ability for our drone operators to be able to deploy the drones to other mechs, and that's going to be a huge, huge boon for us, especially if we get 2 of them in each group. Mini Murgle, how you doing? As always, pretty good. In terms of the reactor's average temperature, yeah, no, that's perfect. All right, well done indeed. Very, very well done. Let's have a look. The cost was even lower. Doesn't surprise me too much, actually. We had a lot of armor damage to the mechs. The HP of the different parts of the mech were what was being healed by the drone, from what I could tell. Do let me know if you happen to know exactly how the drones heal damage, because initially it seemed like they were repairing the armor, or at least I assumed that they were, but on reflection, I'm not entirely sure about that. Right, now, for this one, we wanted to look at CBS, and sound sphere is actually quite low. Yeah, we definitely need to get that up a little bit. So there you go, sound sphere. Let's get you in there. Everyone needs a bit of help. We did lose some vitality in that engagement, and that is a bit rough. Mini Murgle is below as well. And remember that in training, they do lose stress release and vitality. So you're going to be constantly swapping people in and out. I wonder if there's a way to make the hospital more effective. That would be absolutely wonderful. But that is all that we need to do for the missions for today. We've managed to clear out a fair bit. Now, in terms of research, we do have research available to us. We've got currently 50 scientists available. This will be finished tomorrow and is going to give us back... Oh, that looks like a very big bomb. That sounds wonderful, actually. What do we have down yonder? We have processor programs. 14 days? Wow. Okay, but it only takes 15 seconds. I'm going to straight up use that one. Let's start this one nice and early. This additional port wiring for all modules will allow the use of special processor programs to change some dependencies. Requires reactor for functioning. I mean, all mechs require a reactor for functioning, so I'm not quite sure what that means. There's clearly some inner meaning to that one. How long have we got on the atomic bomb? We have got 4 days on that. That's not too bad. We could at this point grab... no, we no longer have the star for it, sadly. Is there anything else that we could get? There's 80 over there, 50, 80, 50... 25. We could get cabins 4 and 5, the best cockpits. These designs were supposed to be used in mechs for landing on Jupiter. Oh. Well, one can only assume that something that would be able to land on Jupiter. Note they didn't say skim the surface, skim the atmosphere of Jupiter. Land on Jupiter. What on earth kind of super future materials are these made of? But okay, let's go ahead and go for that one, since it's the only thing I can really go for. We don't really have engineers to invest in anything else, sadly. And that is a big sad for me. I would love to get... Oh, no, we do. We do have enough. Okay, well, let's pop one more order for a motor down here. That will finish on the same day that this cabin finishes. And that'll be good enough for me. Okay, not terribly bad. We've got another high-powered laser as well there. So hopefully we will be able to start investing in those in the reasonably near future. Yeah, we need 60 engineers for all of the particularly nice armor plates there. So we're going to have to wait on that one as well. But alright, I think that's going to be where we have to wrap up this episode. Again, I would really love your feedback on whether you would like more concise tuning parts to the videos where I just lay out what I plan to do, then bring you back to a summary of how I got it to work that way, or if I change my mind, why and what the mech is now equipped with, or extended tuning where you get to see the ins and outs of the process is helpful for you from a tutorial standpoint, or just enjoyable from an entertainment standpoint. Either way, I would very, very much like to hear back from you on that one. But that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I certainly hope to see you in the next. But until then, and as always, from my mechs and all of our pilots, to take care, everyone.